Hi everyone, I am Subhaprada, working as an assistant professor of mechatronics department in MAM School of Engineering. Today we are going to see about the unit 5 of basic electrical electronics and measurement engineering. The topic is about electrical measurement. Introduction. Measurement is the process of comparing the unknown magnitude of certain parameter with the known predefined parameters. The temperature of the body is to be measured. Thermometer is used with predefined scale indicating different values of the temperature. The length of the wall is to be measured. The measuring tape is used with the predefined markings. The measurement enable us to obtain magnitude of the certain parameters whose value is not known by comparing them with the standards whose value is predefined. Let me see types of measurement. There are three types of measurement. They are primary measurement, secondary measurement and tertiary measurement. Primary measurement. In primary mode, the value of a physical parameter is determined by comparing it directly with reference standard. Example, matching of two lengths when determining the length of an object with a scale. Next, secondary measurement. The indirect measurement involving one conversion are called secondary measurement. Example, conversion of pressure into displacement. The next one, tertiary measurement. The indirect measurements involving two conversions are called tertiary measurement. The measurement of the speed of rotating shaft by means of electric tachometer is the example. Next, functional elements of an instrument. The block diagram of the functional elements of an instrument is shown below. Most of the measurement systems contain three main functional elements. They are primary sensing element, variable conversion element and data presentation element. Primary sensing element. The quantity under measurement makes its first contact with the primary sensing element of a measurement system, that is measurand, which is the first detected by primary sensor, which gives output in a different analogous form. This output is then converted into an electrical signal by a transducer. The first stage of the measurement system is known as detector transducer state. Variable conversion element. The output of the primary sensing element may be electrical signal of any form. It may be a voltage, a frequency or some other electrical parameter. For the measurement instrument to perform the desired function, it may be necessary to convert the output to some other suitable form. Variable manipulation element. The function of this element is to manipulate the signal presented to it, preserving the original nature of the signal. The variable conversion element, some non-linear processes like modulation, detection, sampling, filtering, chopping, etc. are performed on the signal to bring it to the desired form to be accepted by the next stage of measurement system. This process of conversion is called as mu-signal conditioning. Data presentation element. The information about the quantity under measurement has to be conveyed to the personnel handling the instrument or the system for monitoring, control or analysis purposes. This function is done by data presentation element. For control and analysis purpose, microprocessor or computers may be used. The final stage in the measurement system is known as terminating stage. Characteristics of measuring instrument. There are two characteristics of electrical measuring instruments. They are static characteristics and dynamic characteristics. Static characteristics. It means a value of measured variable that is changes slowly by 1. Dynamic characteristics. It is also the value of measured variable that can be changed very fast compared to the static characteristics. Let me see one by one. First, we see about the static characteristics. In static characteristics, there are 12 types. They are accuracy. It is the degree of closeness with which the reading approaches the true value of the quantity is to be measured. Next one, precision. It is the measure of reproducibility, that is given a fixed value of a quantity. Precision is a measure of the degree of agreement within a group of measurements. Next, sensitivity. It is defined as the ratio of the change in output of an instrument to the change in value of the quantity to be measured. Next one, linearity. The linearity is defined as ability to reproduce the input characteristics symmetrically and linearly. Next, reproducibility. It is the degree of closeness with which a given value may be repeatedly measured. It is specified in the terms of scale readings over a given period of time. Next, repeatability. It is defined as the variation of scale reading and random in nature. Next, drift. Drift may be classified into 3 categories. They are zero drift, span drift and zonal drift. Zero drift, it is the whole calibration gradually shifts due to the slippage, permanent set or due to undue warming. Span drift, if there is proportional change in the indication all along the upward scale, the drift is called span drift or sensitivity drift. Zonal drift, in case the drift occurs only a portion of span of an instrument, it is called zonal drift. Next, resolution. If the input is slowly increased from some arbitrary input value, it will gain found that the output does not change at all until certain increment is exceeded. Next, threshold. If the instrument input is increased very gradually from 0, there will be some minimum value below which no output change can be detected. This minimum value defines threshold. Next, stability. It is the ability of an instrument to retain its performance throughout its specified operating life. Next, tolerance. The maximum allowable error in the measurement is specified in terms of some value which is called as tolerance. Next, range or span. The minimum and maximum value of a quantity for which an instrument is designed to measure is called its range or span. Next, we see about dynamic characteristics. Here we have 4 types: speed of response, measuring lag, fidelity and dynamic error. Speed of response. It is defined as the rapidity with which a measurement system responds to change in the measured quantity. Next, measuring lag. It is the retardation or delay in the response of a measurement system to changes in the measured quantity. There are two types, that is retardation type and time delay lag. Next, fidelity. It is defined as degree to which the measurement system indicates changes in the measurement quantity without dynamic error. Next, dynamic error. It is the difference between true value of the quantity changing with time and the value indicated by the measurement system if no static error is assumed. Next, we see about the classification of errors. There are two types of classifications. One is true value and the measured value. What do you mean by true value? It may be defined as the average value of the infinite number of measured values when average deviation to the various factors will approach to zero. What is meant by measured value? It may be defined as approximated value of the true value. So, next, static error. Static error means the difference between the measured value and the true value of the quantity. That is denoted as dA is equal to AM minus AT. Next, we see about the types of errors. There are three types of errors. One is gross errors, systematic errors, and random errors. In systematic errors, there are three types: instrumental error, environmental error, and observational error. Let me see one by one in the next slide. Gross errors. It includes all the human mistakes while reading, recording, and the readings. This category of errors will make the mistakes in calculating the errors also come under this category. For example, while taking the reading from the meter of the instrument, he may read 21 as 31. The gross errors can be avoided by using two suitable measures. A proper care should be taken in reading, recording the data. By increasing the number of experiments, the gross errors can be reduced. Next, random errors. After calculating all the systematic errors, it is found that there are still some errors in measurement are left. These errors are known as random errors. Some of the reasons of these appearance of these errors are known, but still some reasons are unknown. Next, systematic errors. In order to understand these kinds of errors, let us categorize the systematic error as instrumental error, environmental error, and observational error. Instrumental error. These errors may be due to wrong construction, calibration of the measuring instruments. These type of errors arise due to the friction or may be due to hysteresis. These errors also include loading effect and misuse of the instruments. Misuse of the instruments result in failure to adjust the zero of the instrument. In order to minimize the gross errors in measurement, various correction factors must be applied. Next, environmental errors. This type of error arises due to environmental conditions external to the instrument. External condition includes temperature, pressure, humidity, or it may include external magnetic field. The steps that must follow in order to minimize the environmental errors are: try to maintain the temperature and humidity of the laboratory. Ensure that there should not be any external magnetic or electrostatic field around the instrument. Next, observational errors. As the name suggests, these type of errors are due to wrong observations. The wrong observations may be due to parallax. In order to minimize the parallax error, highly accurate meters are required, provided with mirror scales. Next, permanent magnet moving coil instrument. The permanent magnet moving coil instrument, or PMMC, a most accurate type for DC measurement. It is mainly based on the motoring principle. The working principle is same as that of de-Arsonval type of galvanometer. A current carrying coil is placed in the magnetic field produced by permanent magnet. The coil experiences a force and moves. As the coil is moving and the magnet is permanent, the instrument is called as permanent magnet moving coil instrument. Let me see the construction of PMMC instrument. The moving coil is either rectangular or circular in shape. It has number of turns of fine wire. The coil is suspended, that is free to turn about its vertical axis. The coil is placed in uniform, horizontal and radial magnetic field of the permanent magnet in the shape of a horseshoe. The iron core is spherical if coil is circular and is cylindrical if the coil is rectangular. Due to the iron core, the deflecting torque increases the sensitivity of the instrument. The controlling torque is provided by two phosphor bronze hair springs. The damping torque is provided by eddy current damping. It is obtained by moving the aluminum former in the magnetic field. The pointer is carried by spindle and it moves over a graduated scale. The point has light weight so that it can deflect rapidly. The mirror is placed below the point to get the accurate reading by removing the parallax error. The weight of the instrument is counterbalanced by the weights situated diametrically opposite and rigidly connected to it. The scale marking of the basis DC PMMC instruments are usually linearly spaced, as the deflecting torque and pointer deflection is directly proportional to the current passing through the coil. Next, torque equation for PMMC instrument. The deflecting torque induces the movement of the coil. The deflecting torque is expressed by the equation as TD is equal to NBLDI, where N is the number of turns of the coil and B is the flux density in the air gap. L and D are the vertical and horizontal length of the side. I is the current through the coil. The G is equal to NBLD. This means the spring provides the restoring torque to the moving coil, which is expressed as Tz is equal to K theta, where K is the spring constant, Tz is the controlling torque and theta is the angular deflection. By substituting the value of the equation 1 and 2 in 1 and 3, we get K theta is equal to Gi. Theta is equal to Gi by K. So I is equal to K by G into theta. This equation shows that the deflection torque is directly proportional to the current passing through the coil. Advantages. It has uniform scale. The scale of the PMMC is correctly divided. It is very less power consumption. It has high accuracy because of the high torque weight ratio, free from hysteresis error. And the disadvantages are it can be used only for DC measurements. The cost of the PMMC instrument is higher than that of the moving iron instruments. Moving iron instrument. The moving iron instruments are most commonly used laboratory instruments because of its advantages like cost, high accuracy and ruggedness. The two basic MI instruments are moving iron attraction type instruments and moving iron repulsion type instruments. Let me see one by one in next slide. Attraction type moving iron instrument. It has a flat coil and a narrow slot like opening. When the current to be measured flows through the coil, the magnetic field is produced and attract the moving iron towards it, making the pointer to move. Controlling the torque is provided by springs. The air friction damping is provided with the help of the light aluminum piston attached to the moving system. The attraction type moving iron instruments can be used as on AC as well as on DC systems. Next, repulsion type moving iron instrument. When the instrument is connected in the circuit, the operating current flows through stationary coil. It consists of two vanes inside the coil. Among the two vanes, one is fixed and the other is movable. When the current to be measured flow through the coil, both the vanes get magnetized in a similar way and hence the force of repulsion exists between the two vanes, which results in the movement of the moving vane and movement of the pointer. There are two different designs for moving iron repulsion type. They are radial vane type and coaxial vane type. Thus, repulsion type moving iron instrument can be used as DC as well as on the AC systems. Electrode dynamometer type wattmeters. This type of wattmeter consists of fixed coil which is connected in series with the load and it carries the current through the load. Hence, the fixed coil is also called as field coil or current coil. Whereas the moving coil in the wattmeter is connected across the load and it carries the current proportional to the voltage across the load. Hence, the moving coil is also called as potential coil or pressure coil or voltage coil. Let me see the construction of electrode dynamometer type wattmeter. First one is fixed coil. The fixed coils are the field coils which carry the load current of the circuit. Generally, they are divided into the two halves but connected in the series. The fixed coil also called current coil and it is always connected in the series with the load and they are properly laminated and a standard order to avoid the eddy current loss. Next, moving coil. The moving coil is generally attached to the spindle which is connected to the pointer. The moving coil is also called pressure coil and it is made of thin wire but has more number of turns. In order to have high resistance, the maximum load current flows through the load instead of flowing through the voltmeter. So it is connected across the load. Next, control torque. The control torque is provided by springs as it is a electrodynamometer type instrument. Next, damping. Air friction damping is used here. Pointer and scale. This type of instrument has mirror type scales and knife edge pointer to avoid the parallax error while reading. Next, transducer. An electrical transducer is a device which is capable of converting the physical quantity into proportional electrical quantity such as voltage or electric current. Hence, it converts any quantity to be measured into the usable electrical signal. This physical quantity is to be measured can be pressure, level, temperature, displacement, etc. The output is obtained from the transducer is in the electrical form and is equivalent to the measured quantity. Types of transducers. There are 4 types of transducers: temperature transducer, pressure transducer, displacement transducer, and flow transducers. Active transducers. The active transducers are those which do not require any power source for their operations. They are work on the energy conversion principle. They produce an electrical signal proportional to the input. For example, thermocouple is an active transducer. Next, passive transducer. The transducers which require the external power source for their operation is called passive transducer. They produce an output signal in the form of some variation in resistance, capacitance or any other electrical parameters which has to be converted to an equivalent current or voltage signal. For example, a photocell LDR is a passive transducer which will vary the resistance of the cell when the light falls on it. Resistance or temperature detector. It means we can say it as RTD. The resistance thermometer or resistance temperature detector is an instrument used to measure electrical resistance in terms of temperature. The resistance of the conductor changes when its temperature is changed. This property is used for measurement of temperature. The variation of the resistance of the metal with the variation of the temperature is given as RT is equal to R0 into 1 plus T minus T0 plus beta into T minus T0 the whole square plus etc. Where RT and R0 are the resistance values at T degree Celsius and T0 degree Celsius temperatures. Alpha and beta are the constants depends on the metals. In RTD devices, copper, nickel and platinum are widely used metals to measure the temperature. These 3 metals are having different resistance variations with respective to the temperature variation. That is called as resistance temperature characteristics. Construction. The construction is typically such that the wire is wound on a form on notched mica cross frame to achieve small size, improving the thermal conductivity to decrease the response time and high rate of the heat transfer. In the industrial RTDs, the coil is protected by a stainless steel sheath or a protective tube. The physical strain is negligible as the wire expands and increases the length of the wire with the temperature change. If the strain on the wire is increasing, then the tension increases. This is also useful to RTD maintenance while the plant is in operation. Mica is placed in between the steel sheath and the resistance wire for better electrical insulation. Due less strain in the resistance wire, it should be carefully wound over the mica sheet. Limitations of RTD. It is very high cost and it need for bridge circuit and power source. It has a large bulb size compared to the thermocouple. The possibility of the shelf heating, there will be a I2R power dissipation by the device that itself causes a slight heating effect. This is called as self-heating in RTD. Strain gauge. The strain gauge is an Example of the passive transducer that uses the variation in electrical resistance in wires to sense the strain produced by the force on the wires. Strain is defined as the change in the length of its original length. Strain can be measured more easily by using the variable resistance transducer. It is common practice to measure the strain to serve as a guide of pressure. Such transducers are called as strain gauges. The change in resistance value of the conductor under strain is more than for an increase in resistance due to its dimensional change. This property is called as piezoresistive effect. There are three types of strain gauges: wire strain gauge, foil strain gauge, and semiconductor strain gauge. Uses of strain gauges. In the field of mechanical engineering development, the strain gauges are mostly used for the purposes. It should be measure the stress generated by the machines. In the field of component testing, the linkages, structural and damages, etc. are used for testing of the aircraft. LVDT. LVDT means the linear variable differential transformer. The differential transformer is a passive inductive transformer. It is also known as LVDT. The transformer consists of a single primary winding P1 and two secondary windings S1 and S2 wound on a hollow cylindrical former. The secondary windings have an equal number of turns and are identically placed on either side of the primary windings. The primary winding is connected to an AC source. A movable soft iron core slides within the hollow former and affects the magnetic coupling between the primary and two secondaries. The displacement is measured applied to an arm attached to the soft iron core. When the core is normal position, equal voltages are induced in the two secondary windings. The output voltage of the secondary winding S1 is ES and that of the secondary winding S2 is ES. Principle of operation and working. Three cases arise according to the locations of the core, which explains the working of LVDT. Case 1. When the core is at null position, that is for no displacement. When the core is at null position, then the flux linking with the both secondary winding is equal. So, the induced EMF is equal in both the windings. So far, no displacement, the value of the output E0 is 0 as ES1 and ES2 both are equal. It shows that no displacement took place. Case 2. When the core is moved to the left side of the null position for displacement to the upward of reference point. In this case, the flux linking with secondary windings S1 is more as compared to the flux linking with S2. Due to this, ES1 will be more as that of ES2. Due to this output voltage, E0 is positive. Case 3. When the core is moved to the right side of the null position for displacement to the downward of reference point. In this case, magnitude of ES2 will be more as that of ES1. Due to this output, E0 will be negative and shows the output to downward of reference point. Advantages. Linearity. The output voltage is practically linear for displacements up to 5 mm. Infinite resolution. The change in the output voltage is stepless. High output. It gives a high output there is frequently no need for the intermediate amplification devices. Less friction. There are no sliding contacts. Low power consumption. Most of the LVDT consumes less than 1 watt of power. Disadvantages. The large displacements are required for the appreciable differential output. They are sensitive to the stray magnetic fields. The receiving instrument must be selected to operate an AC signals. Temperature also affects the transducer. Piezoelectric transducer. Asymmetrical crystalline materials such as quartz, Rochelle salt and barium titanate produce an EMF when they are placed under stress. This property is used in piezoelectric transducers where a crystal is placed between a solid base and four summing members. A piezoelectric transducer is a device that uses the piezoelectric effect to measure changes in acceleration, pressure, temperature, force, etc. An extremely applied force entering the transducer through its pressure port applies pressure to the top of the crystal. This produces an EMF across the crystal proportional to the magnitude of the applied pressure. In this application, its output voltage is typically of the order of 1 to 30 millivolt per gram of the acceleration. The device needs no external power source and is self-generating. The disadvantage is only that it cannot measure the static conditions. The output voltage is also affected by temperature variation of the crystal. Light dependent resistor, LDR. The light dependent resistors is also known as photoresistors, are light sensitive devices used to indicate the presence or absence of light or to measure the light intensity. When the LDR sensor is exposed to light, the resistance drops dramatically down to a few ohms depending on the light intensity. LDRs have sensitivity that varies with the wavelength of light applied and are linear, non-linear devices. They are used in many applications such as photodiodes and phototransistors. Working principle of LDR. A light-dependent resistor works on the principle of photoconductivity. The photoconductivity is an optical phenomenon in which the material's conductivity is increased, the light is absorbed by the material. When the light falls, that is when the photons are falls on the device, the electrons in the valence band of the semiconductor material are excited to the conduction band. These photons in the incident light should have energy greater than the band gap of the semiconductor material. Construction of the photocell. The structure of the light dependent resistor consists of light sensitive material which is deposited on an insulating substrate such as ceramic. The material is deposited in zigzag pattern in order to obtain the desired resistance and power rating. This zigzag area separates the metal deposited areas into two regions. Then the ohmic contacts are made on the either side of the area. The resistance of these contacts should be less as possible to make sure that the resistance may changes due to effect of light. Materials normally used are cadmium sulfide, cadmium selenide, indium antimonide and cadmium sulfonide. The use of the lead and cadmium is avoided as they are harmful to the environment. There are two types of light dependent resistors. They are intrinsic photoresistors and extrinsic photoresistors. Intrinsic photoresistors means these are made of pure semiconductor materials such as silicon or germanium. The electrons get excited from the valence band to the conduction band when photons of enough energy fall on it and number change carries is increased. Extrinsic photoresistors. These are in semiconductors materials doped with impurities which are called as dopants. These dopants create the new energy bands above the valence band which are filled with electrons. CRO. It means cathode ray oscilloscope. The oscilloscope is basically an electron beam voltmeter. The heart of the oscilloscope is cathode ray tube, which makes the applied signal visible by the deflection of the thin beam of electrons. Since the electron has practically no weight and no inertia, the beam of the electrons can be moved to follow the waveforms varying at the rate of millions of times per second. It is completely electronic in nature. The oscilloscope can reproduce high frequency waves which are too fast for the electromechanical devices to follow. Thus, the oscilloscope has simplified many tests and measurements. Block diagram of CRO. The functions of the various blocks is as follows. First one, CRT. This is the cathode ray tube which emit electrons that strikes the phosphor screen internally to provide a visual display of signal. Next one is vertical amplifier. The vertical amplifier is a wideband amplifier which is used to amplify the signals in vertical section. Next is delay line. The delay line is used to delay the signal for some time in the vertical sections. Next, time-based generator. It is used to generate the sawtooth voltage required to deflect the beam in the horizontal sections. Horizontal amplifier. It is used to amplify the sawtooth voltage before it is applied to the horizontal deflection plates. Trigger circuit. This is used to convert the incoming signal into the trigger pulse so that the input signal and the sweep frequency can be synchronized. Next one is power supply. The power supply are of two types, a negative high voltage supply and positive low voltage supply. Two voltages are generated in the CRO. The positive supply is from plus 300 to 400 volts. The negative high voltage supply is from minus 1000 to minus 1500 volt. This voltage is passed through bleeder resistor at a few milliamps. The intermediate voltages are obtained from the bleeder resistor for focus and positioning controls. When the electron is injected through the electron gun, it passes through the control grid. The control grid controls the intensity of the electron in the vacuum tube. If the control grid has high negative potential, then it allows only the few electrons to pass through it. Thus, the dim spot is produced on the lightning screen. If the negative potential on the control grid is low, then the bright spot is produced. The intensity of the light depends on the negative potential of the control grid. After moving the control grid, the electron beam passing through the focusing and accelerating anodes. After moving from the accelerating anode, the beam comes under the effect of the deflecting plates. When the deflecting plate is at zero potential, the beam produces the spot at the center. If the voltage is applied to the vertical deflecting plate, the electron beam focus is at the upward and the voltage is applied horizontally, the spot of the light will be deflected horizontally. Applications of CRO. CRO is used in voltage measurement, current measurement, examination of the waveform, measurement of the phase and frequency. Next, cathode ray tube. The CRT is a display screen which produces images in the form of the video signal. The basic CRT consists of 4 major components. Electron gun. It is used for producing the strain of electrons. Focusing and accelerating anodes. These are used for producing the narrow and sharply focused beam of electrons. Horizontal and vertical deflection plates. These are used for controlling the path of the beam. Evacuated glass envelope. It is with a phosphorescent screen which produces bright spot when struck by a high velocity electron beam. The electron gun assembly consists of an indirectly heated cathode, a control grid, an accelerated anode, focusing anode A2 and accelerating anode A3. The working of CRT depends on the movement of the electron beams. The electron guns generate sharply focused electrons which are accelerated at high voltage. This high voltage electron beam when strikes on the fluorescent screen which creates a luminous spot. After exciting the electron gun, the beam passes through the pair of electrostatic deflection plate. These plates are deflected the beams when the voltage applied across it. One pair of the plate moves the beam upward and the second pair of plate moves the beam from one side to another side. The horizontal and vertical movement of electron are independent of each other and hence the electron beam positioned anywhere on the screen. Applications of CRT. The CRT is used in cathode ray oscilloscope. It can be used as a display device in radar and it is also used in television and computer monitor. Thank you for kindly listening to this Unit 5 with me, and I think it is very useful for you to learn the Unit 5 electrical measurements. Thank you once again.